you, bro. My man, Trucker C, he says we hear you, bro. Yeah, buddy. All right. So I got a good show for y'all tonight. And let me just say, hey, I am sorry that it's been a while. I had planned on doing a show back was that October? That was about a week ago, a week and a half ago. But uh I must say that this particular show is a show I haven't been wanting to do for a while, but could not do, um, because I had to, um, lay my mom to rest. Yes, indeed. Uh, my mama has transitioned and gone on to glory. Shout out to my mother, the GOAT, Marcia E. Redmond. Yes, indeed. It's been a tough past few month and a half of just family stuff and doing what I need to do to take care of my mother and my brother and my sister. And we all did what we could to make her last days the best they possibly could. Now she is resting with the ancestors. So, um, it's tough, man, losing a parent. I lost my dad back in 2004, and 20 years later, yes, my mother has gone on to glory. So, for those of you who did know and you know reached out, sent your condolences and all that good stuff, I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for just showing love and yeah, I think I'm about ready to send out a thank you on Facebook for those of you that are my Facebook friends and all that kind of stuff. But I wanted to say publicly that to everybody that supported me, my family, and just all of the well wishes and all of the condolences and the people that called and checked up on me and are still checking up on me. Thank you guys so much. It really means a lot. Um, it's all about just, hey, showing up when you can and doing what you can to support your people. And for those of you who have done that, I really do appreciate you guys. So, um, yes. So it's still, like I said, still to me, still fresh, and it's still one of those things where I'm just working through it. I've been telling everybody I take it as it comes. It comes and goes in waves. So hey, sometimes I'm feeling good, feeling great. Sometimes I feel a little sad, and sometimes I just gotta break down and cry. But I miss my favorite girl. I love my mama. We had a very, very special relationship, and I am truly going to miss that lady. She was definitely a great one. They don't make them like that no more. I can definitely tell you that. But yes, she gave me 50 years of being there every day, and she gave us all to our entire family, she dedicated 80 years. I don't know what else to say on that. What can you say to somebody who give you 80 plus years? So, definitely, definitely going to miss my mother. And, to everybody again, thank y'all, and I will continue to move forward and to move on, but I will always love my mama because she's my favorite girl. Yes, indeed. So, thank you guys. I appreciate y'all, and we are gonna get into the show. And tonight, yes, on tonight, I gotta catch up. So I'm playing catch up now, and hopefully I can really make a dent in. I think I got 4 shows that I need to do. So I'm gonna try to get to rolling this weekend and over the next week, try to really get them in for y'all. So this was the last one that I was supposed to do, which was Kamala Harris on MSNBC. And one of the things that I saw today was this Barack Obama, um, I guess you wanna call it a scolding he did to black men. I'm telling you, man, this shit is getting wild. He literally was like, "I'm gonna speak to the black man and really, just talk to you guys for a minute." It's like it's amazing to see people that are so used to being in a position of control and basically telling everybody what to do. And then when they're not in that position and what they're telling you to do ain't working and you're not following their directions, how shocked they are. It's like, I've been telling you what to do all these years. Now you decided not to do what I said. And now I'm mad. It's like I don't understand. He's literally like shocked to the point of almost being upset that we ain't doing what we supposed to be doing, which is just blindly vote for this woman because the Democrats said vote for this woman. It's amazing. But I want to show you all and show the world and all who may see this why people are not voting for this woman because it's her. They don't want to. It's like they don't want to admit it. They don't want to acknowledge the fact that it's her. And I truly believe this, as savvy uh, Barack Obama is as a politician. Arguably, I'm telling you, man, I'm not a fan of this dude, but I must acknowledge that he has got to be possibly the greatest. I don't know if you want to just call it politician or what is the correct word? Maybe orator, speaker of our time. I'm telling you, it ain't been a nigga like this that's like the Pied Piper of niggas and people that have been around us probably since maybe King and what's the other dude? Malcolm X, maybe Farrakhan, but I kind of think he's a little better than Farrakhan. I like Farrakhan better than him personally because I like Farrakhan's passion. But just overall being able to just speak and just have the command that he does when he speaks, I think probably King is probably the only one I can say, yeah, King better. But this dude here, man, like I said, he's man. He's that deal. He's the real deal, Holyfield. And he's letting all us hooks and hoes know how he feel. I'm just saying that's what he's doing, man. So it's wild. But we gonna get to that one. But first things first,
vision for the
we
future.
gonna get to
But still, there are lots of Americans
Kamala.
who don't see themselves
And
in your plans.
this one is
For those who say these
definitely a
policies
special
aren't
one.
for
Yeah.
me, what do you say to them?
Well, if you are hardworking, if
Hold on, let's do this.
Madam Vice President, you just laid out your economic vision for the future.
yeah,
But still, there are lots of Americans who don't see themselves in your plans. For those who say these policies aren't for me, what do you say to them?
I'm hearing feedback. Oh, it's on my rumble. I'm like, why do I keep hearing this twice? But I got it fixed now. All right.
Well,
there we go.
Madam Vice President, you just laid out your economic vision for the future.
yeah.
But still, there are lots of Americans who don't see themselves in your plans. For those who say these policies aren't for me, what do you say to them?
Well, if you are hardworking, if you have the dreams and the ambitions and the aspirations of what I believe you do, you're in my plan. You know, I have to tell you, I really love and am so energized by what I know to be the spirit and character of the American people. We have ambition. We have aspirations. We have dreams.
She says that all the time. Every time somebody asks her something, she finds a way to fit that in. We have ambitions. We have dreams. We have we just want to create, and we want to love, and that's all she says. She literally keeps saying those same things. Like when somebody's saying, "Are you included in her economic plan?" What does ambition, dreams, what does that have to do with being included in her plan? So why is she saying that? And it's like she even looks off like she's doing now, and she's like she's trying to draw you in to what she's seeing in her mind, and it's literally nothing. It's literally nothing. Like, why would someone just be so intentional on repeating that stuff over and over again? And it's like you're saying nothing. It's like somebody says, "Hey, Brian, what'd you eat for lunch today?" You know, lunch is a really special thing. I mean, we have food, we have drinks, and they're different textures and taste, and just the way that you know your palate is just set for a day, and the different type of experiences that you have in your mouth from the food that you know may think about eating or dream about eating. It's just one of those great things about just being in America and being able to try different things and being able to sample different things, and the taste and the smell and all of the aromas, right, and you just have those aromas, and whether you're in the kitchen or whether you're in a restaurant, or you could just be walking down the street and the food truck could just drive by. It's like being able to experience those types of things, you know, in America is, you know, it's what I'm all about. Mind you, all we said was, "Bitch, what did you have to eat today?" I took you on that great space coaster all the way through there and didn't answer. You still don't know what the hell I ate. That's what she does. And all I'm saying is, I ain't mad at what she doing. I'm more disturbed by the people who listen to that shit and then turn around and be like, "Yeah, Kamala, that's right, girl. She said that. She did that." It's like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Oh my God. But that's what she does. So let's just run it one more time. I got to see if I can plug this thing in too. So I'm going to start it over and see what's happening.
There are lots of Americans who don't see themselves in your plans. For those who say these policies aren't for me, what do you say to them?
Well, if you are hardworking, if you have the dreams and the ambitions and the aspirations of what I believe you do, you're in my plan. You know, I have to tell you, I really love and am so energized by what I know to be the spirit and character of the American people. We have ambition, we have aspirations, we have dreams. We can see what's possible. We have an incredible work ethic. But not everyone has the access to the opportunities that allow them to achieve those things. But we don't lack for those things. But not everyone, you know, gets handed stuff on a silver platter. And so my vision for the economy, I call it an opportunity economy, is about making sure that all Americans, wherever they start, wherever they are, have the ability to actually achieve those dreams and those ambitions, which include, for middle-class families, just being able to know that their hard work allows them to get ahead, right?
Okay, she never said, so the opportunity economy, that phrase sounds good. But here's the thing. Has she ever said what that actually means? So like, here's one thing I will connect to what she's saying as far as an opportunity economy. So she says opportunity economy, and she wants to give first-time new business owners a one-time tax deduction of $50,000. So that means essentially you start a business today, not the 70 million people who already have small businesses, just for the people who start a business. Once she signs this into law that first year, you get to write off up to $50,000 worth of expenses, right? You get to write off $50,000 worth of shit, essentially. If it's an opportunity economy for everyone, and like she's saying, the middle class and all of that, how do I take advantage of a first-time new business owner $50,000 tax write-off when I've had my business in existence for 6 years, 6 months? I mean, not 6 years, but I mean, not 6 months, but 6 years, 16 years, or whatever the case may be. How do I take advantage of that? I can't. So the opportunity is not there for me. So what other things, because that's a good opportunity for a new business owner that's just starting out in this their first year. What I'm asking and what others should be asking is, so as far as the opportunity economy for, like she said, everyone, how do I benefit from that if I already have my small business started and I am not in year one? Has anyone ever heard anything that says how that happens and how I get to partake in the opportunity economy? And the answer is no. She hasn't said anything for those people. There is nothing there for those people. There just isn't.
I think we can't and we shouldn't aspire to have an economy that just allows people to get by. People want to do more than just get by. They want
And
to
where
get
the
ahead.
fuck are they at?
And I come from the middle class. Look, my mother.
Wait a minute. Where the fuck is MSNBC at? So what is that? What the fuck is that? Do y'all see this? This has to be like a set. Where is she at to where she's on the road? Or where are they at to where they have a studio that is set up like this? There just so happens to be an American flag draped in the background. There's a ladder literally leading to no fucking where. There are 2x4s. There's some type of machinery. It's like, what the fuck are they doing? And then out of all of that, there are 2 nice comfy chairs and 2 little side tables. And it's just, this is a perfect place to have a conversation about America and the economy. Do y'all see how insulting they are to the American people every day? These people literally, honest and truly believe and think that they know way more than you all ever will, and they should be telling you what the fuck to do, and you should be listening and following them. You should be giving them everything you have and let them decide on what they should do with your hard-earned money. Your hard-earned time and resources should all go to them for them to manage. They should be managing your fucking lives. That's what they truly believe. And how dare you think for yourself or have an opinion other than theirs? Look at how they just set that shit up. If this ain't a stage set, I don't know what the fuck is. I'm surprised they don't have like people with construction hats and shit just randomly walking by.
More than just get by. They want to get ahead. And I come from the middle class. Look, my mother raised my sister and me. She worked hard. She saved up. By the time I was a teenager, she was able to buy our first home. And
what does that have to do with an opportunity economy? It has nothing to do with an opportunity economy, which was the question.
And, you know, home ownership for too many people in our country now is elusive. You know, gone is the day of everyone thinking they could actually live the American dream. So part of my vision for the economy is let's deal with some of the everyday challenges that people face and address them with common sense solutions.
Okay, so common sense solutions, right? So you tell me this. She comes up with a plan that says, hey, first time home buyers, okay, first time home buyers will be allowed up to, she says up to, if you look on her website, it says up to $25,000 in a tax credit to purchase a new home. So what that means is if I go out and I buy a new home, I'm a first time home buyer only, I may get up to $25,000 for the purchase of that home. All right. Here's the kicker. Before Donald Trump left office, you had to have made $75,000 in order to buy a home. So based on the average median of a home, you had to be making $75,000 to buy a home. Right? Ballpark. Now, that same ballpark you need to be in, it's not 75,000. It's 125,000. So it has increased by over $50,000. So you tell me, what the fuck is $25,000 gonna do if I have to be making $125,000 just to be able to buy a new home as a first-time home buyer? Now, let's also kick in the fact of the housing insurance, the interest rates and all that shit, which interest rates just went back up after they've been preaching to us for months. Interest rates are going to go down at least 1 to 2 points before the end of the year. Well, motherfuckers, we at the end of the year and the shit went down about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, and now the shit's back up. So what? But if I have to be making $125,000 to get a house, how in the fuck can I buy one? And what is $25,000 gonna do with me trying to purchase that house? Because even if I took that $25,000 and put it with that, I'm still at $100,000. How many people make over 6 figures? How many people make $100,000 and up, or $125,000 up? You talking less than 10% of the country. Less than 10% of the country makes over $100,000. So what does $25,000 do for me when I have to make $125,000? And what the average American income is? What is it? Is it $48,000 or $52,000 a year? How the fuck can I do that? It's literally a fucking pipe dream. The shit's impossible to do. And Jesse Huff, Jesse is right. He said that's if Congress passes the shit. This is if Congress passes it. So if Congress don't even pass this shit, we're fucked. No new home for you. Now, what about those people who are not first-time home buyers in this opportunity economy? I guess I'm just fucked. I'm fucked. I'm stuck with these high-ass interest rates. I'm stuck with this high-ass inflation. I'm stuck with these bullshit-ass prices of everything that has skyrocketed because of these fuckers, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, fucking up the economy like they did. Spending billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars recklessly like Congress did. This is the problem. And it's like what she's saying and what she wants to do is one thing, but what actually would happen, shit won't happen. The shit won't happen. It's a pipe dream. She's literally selling a dream. Some shit that, so I'm telling you like this. The majority of the shit that she says sounds good. Well, no, I'm sorry, it doesn't. Less than half of the shit she says sounds good. The likelihood of it actually happening and being able to be funded and paid for by this economy is 0 to none, no chances of it happening. So it's literally just pipe dreams that she's selling. She has not said how this is going to get paid for, aside from saying, we're going to have the billionaires pay their fair share. And you'll hear that. But the odds of this actually coming to fruition, the tax cuts, potentially yes. Because she's saying that one-time $6,000 newborn tax cut. But if I ain't having no new baby, nothing for me. Nothing for me.
Such as affordable housing.
Over the last 4 years, there have been tremendous economic wins, and you've just laid out a big plan. But still, polling shows that most likely voters still think Donald Trump is better to handle the economy. Why do you think that is?
Well, here's what I know in terms of the facts. Donald Trump left us with the worst economy since the Great Depression when you look at, for example, the employment numbers.
It was.
And I love that. I love the way they say that. Donald Trump, worst economy ever. Fine. Y'all do realize that Donald Trump was against the bills that Congress, which was a Democratic Congress, were actually proposing for the budget and for the spending, because they said that they were filled with pork. Basically, what pork means is it's a bunch of side shit that gets tacked on to a bill in order to balance the budget. Everybody's saying, yeah, well, we can do all of this to keep the lights on, but we want to add all of these hundreds of billions of dollars for our other side pet projects. Like in the middle of COVID, that first COVID bill, they added on the renovation for the Kennedy Space Museum. We're in the middle of COVID, and we're trying to come up with a COVID relief package. And it's really important that we put the Kennedy Space Museum renovation in this bill. Let's spend even more millions and tens of millions of dollars just to do that. $20 million for Pakistan research, transgender research in Pakistan. Those kinds of things were injected into that bill, which swelled it up to where we had to basically give out $3 trillion or $5 trillion is what it was, I believe. And then now you turn around and say, okay, remember when we got that first stimulus check, right? Then that second stimulus check. Now, out of all the money that Congress was giving away, when it came around for us to get, Trump wanted us to get $2,500. They said no. And then they said, you only gonna get this, what was it? It was $600 or $1,500, whatever it was. No, it was $1,200. And then that was only, you had to pay it back in your taxes. So they didn't give us shit. They made us pay it back, taxpayers. We had to pay it back when we did our taxes. But they gave money away to everybody else in the world and for all of their little pet projects. But the people, the American people, the hardworking people, the middle class, we had to pay back our $1,200 that they gave us when we did our taxes. So that $1,200 that you normally would have gotten for your child tax credit, no, you didn't get it when income taxes were due, because they took it back from when they basically gave you a loan on your own fucking tax money. Ain't that about a bitch? So y'all gave money to, you think about all the money they gave to the Ukraine, Israel, all these other countries, and all the money they gave and spent on their little pet projects, the Green New Deal and Bidenomics and all of that. We had to pay back our funky little $1,200. That's what our politicians think of us. And we stood for it, and we voted for their asses. And all them Democrats that's in there now are the same ones that y'all voted in there, and that's what they did for you.
During COVID, and employment was so high because we shut down the government, we shut down the country.
Even before the pandemic, he lost manufacturing jobs by...
That's not true. Flat out, that's a lie. Unemployment was high because the country was shut down. Before those shutdowns, there was literally an economic boom. We were booming. The economy was great. Black folks alone, highest employment rate of all time. She literally just lied and said, no, he lost factory work. Nope, he brought factory workers back to America like he did with the Harley Davidson plant. Y'all remember that? He did that. The pipelines, the drilling and the fracking that was going on. We were getting money. That's a lie.
By most people's estimates, at least 200,000. For the pandemic, he lost manufacturing jobs. By most people's estimates, at least 200,000. He lost manufacturing plants. Ask the auto workers how he lost auto plants.
No.
We have grown over 20 new auto plants. He has an agenda. Let's just deal with it right now going forward, not to mention what happened in the past. He has an agenda that would include making it more difficult for workers to earn overtime, an agenda that would include cutting off access to small business loans for small businesses, an agenda that includes tariffs to the point that the average working person will spend 20% more on everyday necessities. And an
So she said, right, he pretty said, where the fact checkers when you need them. She's literally just making shit up. No numbers, no, hey, this is the statistical data from then. She's just saying this is what they said.
Estimated $4,000 more a year on those everyday necessities, to the point that top economists in our country, from Nobel laureates to people at Moody's and Goldman Sachs, have compared my plan with his and said my plan would grow the economy, his would shrink the economy.
So here's the thing. And I'm in agreement with what Trump is wanting to do, which is putting tariffs on all of the countries that are importing their shit here to help us grow our bottom line. Cutting taxes for us that are spending money, and those people that are bringing shit over here, yes, they should be getting taxed. Why wouldn't we? Why would you just let some people who are bringing their shit in over here for free to sell it and we're not getting anything for it? Not as far as that, we taxing our own people, but we won't tax foreign countries that are selling their shit over here. What kind of sense does that make? If somebody told me, hey, you can pay less taxes and we'll tax these foreign countries that are selling their shit here, I'm for option B. That's a fucking no-brainer. Or as she says, what did she say? Common sense solutions. That's a common sense solution for your ass.
Some of them have actually assessed that his plan would increase inflation and invite a recession by the middle of next year. So the facts remain that Donald Trump has a history of taking care of very rich people And I'm not mad at anybody for being rich, but they should pay their fair share.
What does that mean? How much is your fair share? And here's my thing. And this is what everybody needs to be saying to themselves. With all of the shit that they're saying he's going to do, ask yourself this. What did he do when he was in office? This man was in office 4.5 years ago. What did he do over that time? What did he do? You go from 2016 to 2020. What did he do? Did he do any of the shit that they're saying? He cut taxes, yes, for everyone. In that time frame from 2016 to 2020, that was the most money that I have ever made, and I paid the least amount in taxes. How the fuck he did it, I have no idea. All I know, I'm not an economist, but I do know 1 + 1 = 2, and I had the most. All I can say now, since 2020 till today, I am paying more than I've ever paid in taxes. I am paying more for what it is my cost of living is. I am paying more for everything that I would normally buy. I have been priced out of the car market. I have been priced damn near out of the food market. I can barely make it now. And within that time, in these past 4 years, I have had a promotion. I'm paying more for fucking lights, gas, food, everything, clothes. Just saying. So all this shit that they're talking, I'm looking at the reality of what that is and how that adds up. And yes, I'm paying more than what I've ever paid before. Period.
But tax cuts for the billionaires and the top corporations in our country, and then not really paying much attention to middle-class families. My perspective on the economy is when you grow the middle class, America's economy is stronger. And there's empirical evidence to prove my point correct.
And if that's correct, then why haven't they done anything to do that? Which leads me to believe that you are not going to do that. Because if you could do it, why would you not do it now? What would be the reason that you're waiting for as to why you haven't done it? That's all I'm saying.
Then let me ask you about taxes, because lots of people will say, I don't like Donald Trump, but he cut my taxes. He didn't just cut corporate taxes, he cut individual taxes. Now that expires next year, and there's some people confused saying, I don't know what's going to happen next year. Under a Harris administration, at what income level should someone expect their taxes to go up? And that state and local tax deduction that's currently capped and matters to a lot of people in blue states, are you going to lift that cap?
So first of all, when it relates to anybody making less than $400,000 a year, your taxes will not go up. Your taxes will not go up. And in fact, under my plan, taxes for 100 million Americans will actually be cut, including $6,000 a year for young couples for the first year of their child's life in a tax cut, a tax credit, essentially, by expansion of the child tax credit. And why is that? Because during the first year of a young couple, of a person's child's life, they're going to need help buying a crib, buying a car seat. And we all benefit when they're actually able to do what they naturally want to do to take care of their child.
And expanding that child tax credit, or you mentioned housing before, giving that extra money for a first home. If you can't raise corporate taxes, or if GOP takes control of the Senate, Where do you get the money to do that? Do you still go forward with those plans and borrow?
Well, but we're going to have to raise corporate taxes. And
you hear that? But we're gonna have to raise. Here's my thing. With all of the taxes that you're going to propose, the tax cuts that you're going to propose, what would keep you from doing that now? That's all I'm saying. Calvin said, Brian, can anyone say what Biden and Harris administration has done for the middle class is their one good thing they have done? I don't know what it is that they've done for the middle class. They said our taxes wouldn't go. Biden said, your taxes ain't going to go up. My taxes went up. I paid more taxes. In fact, they actually went back and made me pay 3 more years of taxes from my previous tax returns. They went back and said, hey, you owe more taxes for these years of your income taxes that you paid already. So I pay more. There's nothing I could do about it. There's nobody you can call at the IRS these days. In case for you all who don't know, you can't just pick up the phone and talk to somebody at the IRS. Nope.
We're going to have to make sure that the biggest corporations and billionaires pay their fair share. That's just it. It's about paying their fair share.
And all that does is this. The more you tax the corporations and the billionaires, the more they pass those taxes on to you through the products and services they provide. So you go and you tax Amazon. Amazon's just going to raise the price of your Amazon Prime membership. That's how that works. It's always worked that way. So you're taxing the billionaires and the corporations. You tax these billionaires and these corporations. They're not going to eat that cost. They pass that cost on to the consumer. So their fair share turns out to be your more share that you're paying because you still have to get those products and those services. Those goods and services that you want, that you need, you're going to pay their fair share when you get those goods and services. That's how it works. They are not going to Jeff Bezos is not going to just pay out of his pocket that extra whatever it is. He's going to say, yeah, what'd you say, how much? Say I was 17 billion. Okay, 17 billion. Okay. We're going to have to raise the Prime membership. Yeah, we're going to raise that $15. And then we're also going to raise all of our goods that we sell. We're going to add a $2 service fee. And they're going to figure some other way out to add that shit to where that's who's paying for it. It's going to be us.
I am not mad at anyone for achieving success, but everyone should pay their fair share. And it is not right that the teachers and the firefighters that I meet every day across our country are paying a higher tax than the richest people in our country.
Bill Gates just said it this week. If he was in charge of taxes, he would have paid more. But how do you find
Bill Gates? Like he gives a fuck about taxes. That shit kills me. You ask the super elite rich who don't give a shit. If I got $300 billion, I don't give a shit about what I got to pay in taxes. Because I got $300 fucking billion. Somebody who had, just literally, Jeff Bezos is what? 70 billion? What does he care about paying taxes? Everything he has and everything he does is written off as some type of business expense or whatever the fuck. It's provided by his company. So therefore, he doesn't have no out-of-pocket costs. %95 of the shit he does is funneled through his business. His travel, his expenses, that's all through his business, which is written off through your taxes. It's a deduction. Makes no sense. So it's like him saying, yeah, you know, Bill Gates said he would pay more in taxes. Bill Gates has a team of people whose sole responsibility and job and services that they provide is to make sure he's paying the least amount of taxes possible. How many average everyday working Americans have that type of team and access to that type of resource? The best most motherfuckers get is probably fucking TurboTax. And we all know that's a bunch of bullshit. You make $60,000 a year, you go to TurboTax and get an income tax refund check of $700. Yeah, that's great.
That line to make sure corporations are paying their fair share, but they're not leaving our country.
Well, listen, I work with a lot of CEOs. I have spent a lot of time with CEOs, and I'm going to tell you that the business leaders who are actually part of the engine of America's economy agree that people should pay their fair share. They also agree that when we look at a plan such as mine that is about investing in the middle class, investing in new industries, investing in bringing down costs, invest in entrepreneurs like small businesses, that the overall economy is stronger and everyone benefits. Part of my plan for the economy is investing in new industries in a way that we have active partnership with the private sector. I've worked with the private sector my entire career. Even as vice president, working with some of the biggest banks and biggest tech.
How do you invest? What does that mean? What does that mean? Invest. How do you actually bring the reality of what she's saying to the people? She can't. I've worked with these people. We're going to invest, and we're going to invest in this and invest in the people, invest in dreams, invest in your hopes, invest in your ambitions while we turn the page and leave those things behind and not being burdened by what's been. It's all a bunch of nothingness that she says. And nobody's saying anything about it.
Companies to increase by billions of dollars the money going into community banks to increase access to capital for small businesses. Why do those biggest corporations and CEOs do that? Because they know those kinds of investments, like in our small businesses, in startups and entrepreneurs, actually strengthens America's economy overall and everyone benefits. So this is not about bilking anybody, but it is certainly about saying, let's make sure that we create opportunities for everyone to grow wealth. I believe.
How do you create opportunities for me to grow wealth? I would love to know that. That's all I'm saying. I would love to know that. How do you do that? And you can get me, if you can tell me what actually happens as to how I get to partake and take advantage of that, I would be so happy. I didn't even see this comment earlier. Is that in here? Maybe it's up front. Let me see. I don't even see that. Ain't that something? I missed that whole comment. Weird. Isn't that weird? But let's keep going.
I believe that it is not sufficient and it should not be our goal to just make sure everyone is working. That should be the baseline. That should be a given. And let's create an economy where people have the ability to buy a home, to start a business, to take a nice vacation from time to time, right?
For people who want to buy a home, yes, getting a $25,000 kicker would be great. But it's not just affording a home. We don't have enough in this country.
You're absolutely right.
And one of the main problems are regulations and rules, strict rules at a local level. How does the federal government cut through all that red tape and get down to, I know, the suburbs of Pittsburgh and say, we're going to have to build some affordable housing here? How do you connect the two?
So you're absolutely right. So across our country.
She said, how do you connect the two? That's what she said. Let's listen to what she says.
Country, people rightly are concerned about the cost of housing. So it's home ownership, to your point. We need more supply. That is, without any question, part of the solution. Creating more supply under my plan includes creating tax incentives to work with the private sector and home builders. Part of my goal and the plan would be to create 3 million new housing units for rent and for ownership by the end of my first term. It includes also what we must do to cut red tape. You're absolutely right. It takes far too long and there's too much bureaucracy associated with home building. And I say that as a devout public servant. I know that we have to reduce the red tape and speed up what we need to do around building. And
how? How do you connect the two is what she's asking. And here's what she's saying. That's all she's saying. She will not just answer and say, hey, I'm going to do this. And here's the other part about this. With these 3 million homes that they want to build by her end of her first term, I'm going to tell you like this. Nobody's going to buy them. Nobody's going to buy them. Because number one, people won't be able to afford them. And number two is the people like those of us that have been in their homes for, well, I'm not one of them, but people who've been in their homes for 5, 10, 15 years and want to move into another home, those people will not sell their homes. You know why they won't sell their homes and move into a bigger house or a better house or a newer house? You know why they won't do that? Because they would be going from a 2.9% interest rate to a damn near, what is it, 6.52 insurance rate? Who would do that? So yeah, this 2.8% that I have on my current home loan that I just bought 12 years ago, yeah, I'm making more money. Yeah, I can afford to move into a big, yeah, I would like to buy a bigger home. So yes, the home I got now is 1,500 square feet. I would love to move into this 2,900 square foot home. But if I do that, I'm going to sell my house and then I'm going to have a 5% increase in my in my mortgage rate than what I had 8 years ago. Why in the fuck would I do that? Why would I do that? I'm going to go from this less than 3% interest rate to a 6.5% interest rate. Who would do that? Raise the hands of those of you who would like to increase your insurance mortgage rate by 4%. Who has ever asked to have their insurance mortgage? I mean, I keep saying insurance. Their mortgage rate increased by 4%, 3%, 2%, 1%. Nobody's ever done that, and nobody ever will do that. So she could build 3 million homes all the fuck she wants, but nobody's going to want to move in them because they won't be able to afford them, or they don't want to pay a higher interest rate and damn near double their mortgage payment by doing so. It's fucking stupid.
And that is going to require working from the federal level with state and local governments. And it's going to be different in different places, depending on the needs of that community,
Not telling you how.
the needs of that local government, that municipality, but working in consultation and coordination, and also around incentives that we can create. For example, some of the work is going to be through what we do in terms of giving benefits and assistance to state and local governments around transit dollars, and looking holistically at the connection between that and housing, and looking holistically at the incentives we in the federal government can create for local and state government.
Like what? What incentives can you create that are going to get passed in Congress? There are none. That's why she's saying none. They have every intention on keeping this shit going the way that it's going, which is why she was able to be put in this position.
Governments to actually engage in planning in a holistic manner that
Holistic?
includes prioritizing affordable housing for working people.
Then let me ask you a business that matters a lot to this town.
Yeah.
U.S. Steel.
Yes.
Right? When you think Pennsylvania, when you think Pittsburgh, you got the Liberty Bell in Philly, and you got U.S. Steel in Pittsburgh.
That's right.
A Japanese company wants to buy them. You are opposed to this idea. Many people are. But if the deal doesn't go through, they have said people could lose jobs, they could close mills, they could leave the state of Pennsylvania. I mean, that is like moving the Liberty Bell to Newark. So which is more important?
It's most important that we maintain America's ability to have American manufacturing of steel by American workers for a number of reasons, which includes, again, back to the point of growing our economy and how I think about the economy overall, investing in new industries. There is not a new industry that I can imagine that is not going to require steel as a manufacturing of steel as a fundamental part of what it accomplishes. And having American workers in an American company manufacturing that steel for those new industries is going to be critically important, not only in terms of our economy, but also in the context of national security. Most people now realize if we didn't before the pandemic and the strain on supply chains and an over-reliance on foreign manufacturing, that we have to be intentional about U.S.-based manufacturing. And of the products that we have to prioritize, steel is one of them. And that's always going to be my priority.
Steel workers matter in this country. Unions matter.
Yes.
In 2016, Donald Trump connected with unions. He saw them. There was an emotional connection. But what he didn't do was deliver policy. In the last 4 years, we have seen huge wins in this country for unions. But not all unions have gotten behind you. I want to understand, when the Teamsters decided not to endorse you, what was their reasoning? What are they looking
Watch
for?
this.
Well, let me go back to our just previous conversation. I'm very proud to have the endorsement of the steelworkers and almost every other major union in America, because I stand by workers and I stand by the importance of being able to join a union and to understand the benefit and the value of unions. And I understand the importance of investing in new industries and working actively with the private sector to grow our economy.
But I'm asking because there's this idea, we want something more from her. What is it?
Well, here's the thing, that back to your point about previous election cycles, Donald Trump made a whole lot of promises that he did not meet. And
So wait, she didn't ask about that. She asked about getting the union endorsement. Let's see if she answers.
One would argue broke. Look at Lordstown. He said he was going to
Don't sell your homes.
Yeah, don't sell your homes. And what happened? It shut down. Outsourcing under Donald Trump. His policies that are about putting, you know, tens to hundreds of % tariffs.
John Deere.
Yes. Yes. So part of the challenge, and I don't disagree that it's a challenge, got to earn the vote of everybody, is reminding people of fact, regardless of what somebody says in a small rally somewhere. And I think that's really important. And that's part of what I'm doing in this campaign, is to remind.
It's so funny how she tries to refer to his rallies as small, and she's literally bussing around the same fucking people to all of her rallies that she's had. The few that she's had, she's literally bussing in people that will hold signs and cheer and clap for her. While Trump got motherfuckers waiting outside for hours, sleeping outside overnight to show up for his. He's putting tens of thousands of people in the seats of the rallies that he's done. So, yeah, lie. For what reason? I have no idea, but that's what she does. Hey, politicians lie. It is what it is.
People, just like here in Pittsburgh, of the reality of who has stood with union labor, who stands for American manufacturing, who stands for American jobs.
Can I ask you about tariffs? Because you just mentioned it. It's not just with one company. Donald Trump's sort of big idea is this broad-based tariffs across the board. You and many others have said that would be not only disastrous, but it would be a direct tax on the American consumer.
It would be a sales tax on the American people. That the independent economists have already measured this by the sales tax of doing a 20% tariffs on all imports that he has described would be a 20% sales tax, in essence, on basic necessities for the average American worker, average American family, totaling almost $4,000 a year.
For the shit that we buy from other countries. So if we're making it here, we have a choice. I'm just saying, it just doesn't sound like it makes sense to me to say, well, we're going to pay more. However, you're going to tax the corporations and you're going to tax the billionaires so that they pay more. Then they're going to raise their prices and then we're going to pay more. So I guess both parties are saying we're going to pay more one way or the other. That could be true, except when he was in office, I wasn't paying more. When he was in office, I wasn't paying more. You're in office, I'm paying more. That's all I have to say about that. Like I said, I'm not an economist. I can give a fuck about what Goldman Sachs says because I'm looking at what the fuck Chase Bank says on my statement. With your ass, I'm paying more. With his ass, I wasn't paying more. Go fish.
That is no small matter. Here in Pittsburgh, when I'm talking to a group of folks who work here, who live here, and when they hear it might be $4,000 more a year for them, look, people can't afford that.
But tariffs aren't unique to President Trump. President Biden has tariffs in place. He's actually looking to potentially implement more. Where do you come out on? Is there a good tariff, a bad tariff?
Well, part of it is you don't just throw around the idea of just tariffs across the board, and that's part of the problem with Donald Trump. Frankly, I'm going to, and I say this in all sincerity, he's just not very serious about how he thinks about some of these issues.
Wow.
And he must be serious.
She really had the nerve to say that? Says the person who can't even answer a simple question directly. Takes you on a fucking magic school bus ride for every fucking question, and the bus stops everywhere but where the question was originally asked. She says that. The nerve of some people.
and have a plan, and a real plan that's not just about some talking point ending in an exclamation at a political rally, but actually putting the thought into what will be the return on the investment, what will be the economic impact on everyday people. And when you look at my plans, you will see what those benefits will be. $25,000 down payment assistance for first-time home buyers. You know what that means? Then you're creating the ability of that working person to build intergenerational wealth. Doing the work of a $6,000 child tax credit, doing the work of a $50,000 tax deduction for first-time small businesses, startups, because right now—
That's a real plan.
It's a real plan, because right now, and again, it's about paying attention to the detail and being serious about it. I'm serious about my enthusiasm and for small businesses and my belief in what they will do as part of America's economic engine.
On Friday,
So looking at the fact that right now the tax deduction is $5,000, nobody in this year of our Lord 2024 can start a small business with $5,000. Very few can. So extending it to $50,000 tax deduction for startups to generate the innovation and the ambition of the ideas that are present and among us.
Imagine this person talking to like Putin, Xi Jinping. Imagine this person talking to them and what she would actually be saying. She wouldn't be talking to them. It would be somebody else, and that's even more scarier.
But need the fuel to be able to actually achieve the goal.
His plan is not serious when you lay it out like that, but a serious problem over the last few years has been inflation. Luckily, it's cooling, but prices are still high.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You've said you want to take this on by going after those who engage in price gouging.
Yeah.
But as somebody who supports free markets, who's a capitalist, how do you go after price gouging without implementing price controls? Because once we get—
How do you go after price gouging without implementing price control?
in this zone, people start to get worried and they say, I don't know what she stands for.
So just to be very frank, I am never going to apologize for going after companies and corporations that take advantage of the desperation of the American people. And as Attorney General, I saw this happen. In the midst of an emergency, whether it be an extreme weather event or even the pandemic, we saw it.
How do you control price gouging without implementing price control? That's what she's asked. She just said some other shit that don't answer the question. Let's see.
Where those few companies, not the majority, not most, but those few companies that would take advantage of the desperation of people and jack up prices. Yeah, I'm going to go after them. Yes.
How? How do you go after price gouging without implementing price control? Basically, what price control means that the government would dictate how much hot dogs cost, how much food is, whatever the price of eggs. The government would decide how much that is. You tell me, in what instance does that even come close to making any kind of fucking sense? To where the government, motherfuckers who have no clue about how much shit costs and how much shit should cost, they're the ones deciding how much shit costs.
I'm going to go after them. And that is part of a much more comprehensive plan on what we can do to bring down the cost of living, including housing, including the everyday needs of the American people.
On Friday, you are going to the border. Immigration is complicated. One of the issues is an economic one. And no one is eating.
I don't understand this. She's still not answering the question. It is what it is.
Cats and dogs in Springfield, Ohio, and I'm glad not to be talking about that. But there are people there that are stressed, that feel that they're at capacity. Communities around the country that have legal immigration, many have said we're at capacity. And many feel like the government has said to them, well, adapt, sit down, be quiet. This is how it is. What would a Harris administration do for those communities who've taken in many, many legal immigrants but are at capacity?
Well, first of all, we do have a broken immigration system.
For me,
Y'all broke
what do you
it.
say to them?
Damn, I fucked up.
Tax are doing a 20% tariffs on all. People can't afford that. $1,000 child tax credit.
Without implementing price controls. Because once we
take advantage of the desperation of the American people and a comprehensive plan on what we can do to bring down.
we're at capacity. And many feel like the government has said to them, well, adapt, sit down, be quiet. This is how it is. What would a Harris administration do for those communities who've taken in many, many legal immigrants but are at capacity?
Well, first of all, we do have a broken immigration system, and it needs to be fixed. And if
Guarantee she's gonna bring in Donald Trump and talk about he killed the bill. Watch.
we take a step back, months ago, some of the most conservative members of the United States Congress came together with others, proposed a border security bill that would have put 1,500 new border agents on the border to help those hardworking border agents who are there right now working around the clock. Would have put more money into stemming the flow of fentanyl, which is killing Americans around our country and devastating communities. Would have put more resources into our ability to prosecute transnational criminal organizations, which in my career I've prosecuted. Donald Trump got word of the bill, realized it was going to fix a problem he wanted to run on, and told them to kill the bill, don't put it up for a vote. He killed a bill that would have actually been a solution because he wants to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And that's part of what needs to be addressed. And my pledge is that when elected president, if the American people will have me, I will bring that bill back and I will sign it into law. And we need a comprehensive plan that includes what we need to do to fortify not only our border, but deal with the fact that we also need to create pathways for people to earn citizenship.
So let's just say that Trump is the worst person in the world and he killed the bill. Let's just say that. I'm going to concede that. My question would then be, why haven't, since you all have such a wonderful plan and you know what it is, why not just issue an executive order? Since he killed the plan, he killed the bill, right? Because he's just the worst person ever. Why would you all just not do an executive order? Case closed. Done. The same executive order that you wrote day one that took away all of the Border Patrol's authority, why not just implement that again? Because they don't want to do that.
Then I want to just ask you about a little job and a big job.
Okay.
The first one, just a fact check.
Okay.
Because your opponent
There is
almost
no little
every
job.
day. Okay,
There's no such thing as a little job.
Okay, fair. Because your opponent almost every day seems to be talking about this. So I just want to ask you yes or no. At any point in your life, have you served 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, working at a McDonald's? Yes or no? That's it.
I have.
Okay, now the other job. But
it was not a small job. Like, I did the fries. I mean, yes.
Okay, for a
but
small
I did.
period of time. But then let me ask you about a big job.
But to your point, if you don't mind, before you get
Please.
to the big job, there's a part of the reason I even talk about having worked at McDonald's is because there are people who work at McDonald's in our country who are trying to raise a family. I worked there as a student. I was a kid who worked there trying to raise families and pay rent on that. And I think part of the difference between me and my opponent includes our perspective on the needs of the American people and what our responsibility then is to meet those needs.
So like when he came up with no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, I'm quite sure your ass will work some OT at McDonald's. But she's going to talk about that part. Meanwhile, both of her parents have PhDs. She grew up in Canada and then moved to California and grew up in Berkeley. This bitch is not from Oakland. This bitch ain't from Oaktown. She grew up near Berkeley College. Whatever, man.
Then to the big job. You have laid out policy in great detail.
Yeah.
But the economy is an unpredictable beast. And you are running for a job that takes extraordinary instinct and guts.
Yeah.
What's the last time you had to make a gut decision? This here is very prescribed, very controlled.
Yeah. Probably the biggest gut decision I've made most recently is to choose my running mate. Yeah. There were lots of good, incredible candidates. And ultimately, that came down to a gut decision.
I know I'm out of time, but then I just want to ask you a question from my gut.
Okay.
Because today we're talking about we're talking about the economy.
Yeah.
And people don't think often about reproductive rights being an economic issue, but it is. A woman's ability to plan her future, her education, her life. Today, and in the last few days, Donald Trump keeps talking about it and how in overturning Roe v. Wade, he helped women. He protected women. He says they're miserable today. They're poorer today. They're more vulnerable today. He said he will be the protector of women if elected. Can you respond to that?
So Donald Trump is also the person who said women should be punished for exercising a decision that they rightly should be able to make about their own body and their future. So I think we would all agree that as a result of that perspective that he has about women, he also then chose 3 members of the United States Supreme Court who did as he intended, undid the protections of Roe v. Wade, and now in state after state, you see laws being passed that do punish women. Laws that, I mean, most recently, a heartbreaking story resulted in a young woman dying, a mother of a 6-year-old.
She literally is like not addressed. She just, this is ridiculous. And let's just see what, you know what? Let me get finished.
Heart-wrenching stories. And that's for the listener, much less their family. So, look, I think the thing about Donald Trump is that, you know, I don't think the women of America need him to say he's going to protect them. The women of America need him to trust them.
Can we trust you?
Yes. Yes. I am not perfect, but I will tell you, I'm always going to put the needs of the people first.
Madam Vice President, thank you for your time today.
Thank you. Thank you.
There you have it. And the main reason why I did this, because I know plenty of people are covering this, but the main reason why I did this video, because I wanted to show and prove one major point. This woman, let me get her face in here. This woman right here, she never once, out of this entire interview on MSNBC, pressed her, or forced her to answer a single question. She let her make up and say whatever the fuck she wanted to say for every single question she asked. She didn't even answer the question. She didn't answer not one question directly with what she's asked. So just like how she said the fries, I was on fries and I did the 2 all beef patty, special sauce, Spanish cheese. That would have been a perfect opportunity for her to say, yeah, I worked at the McDonald's on 87th and Dan Ryan. I worked at the McDonald's on 87th and Jeffrey. She would have been able to just say that. Nope. Nope. No address. No, hey, this is where I work. I know people have been saying that I haven't worked there and that I'm lying. Go fact check that. She wouldn't even do that. You ask her about this thing about, well, we wanted to know what your plan. My plan is to give opportunities to everyone and everybody, and we can dream and hope and feel joy, and we can skip and frolic in the wind, all of this shit. Except for just answering the question, saying, hey, this is what we're going to do, and this is how we do it. This is how we're going to do it, and this is what we're going to. This is what I want to do, and here's how I'm going to make it happen. Nope. It's ridiculous that this woman considers herself to be a journalist or an interviewee or whatever the case may be, and didn't get not one of her goddamn questions answered with a hardcore answer. This is the problem with journalistic integrity. This is the problem that we have with mainstream media. This is the problem with propaganda. This is the problem with our culture as Americans, as America. And this is the problem when it comes to people saying that they want us to literally live on our knees, and they want to give us what they want us to have. This is how you do it when you have this much control over the media. That's exactly what this is. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. It's been doing that lately. I'm going to try to fix it, but that's exactly what this is. So I wish that there was more accountability when it comes to these types of things, so that these people will not just get away with saying whatever they want to say, not answering questions, telling just flat out lies, and nobody's fact checking. Do y'all realize that nobody fact checks this woman? Donald Trump does a debate, gets fact checked 5 times. Gets fact checked so much that the fact checkers are wrong about their fact checking. Donald Trump gets fact checked so much that the fact checkers are wrong about the fact checking. Kamala Harris never gets fact checked. Why is that? Can someone answer that question? Why is that this woman never gets fact checked? Why is it that this woman never gets fact checked at all? Never no one has a question and they don't get an answer, and they press her to answer the question and say, hey, can you answer the question? Why is it that no one ever does that? Oh, wait, I lost my entire feed. Why is that? Hey, hold on. Let me go back and see what this is doing. See if maybe it'll come back now. Hopefully. Man. Okay, there we go. Shit. But why no one fact checks this woman is just beyond me. And I don't understand why this is acceptable journalism. This is acceptable media. And when you have people that are tuning into this, they're taking this and just taking it as gospel. But this is what it's come down to. And this is why I'm so glad there are places like Rumble. There are places like Twitch. There are places that allow other people like us to actually create content and actually talk about anything that we want and talk about facts and bring truth to power. I hope that this video helps somebody become a better version of themselves. I hope that somebody will watch this video and not take my word for it, but just begin to actually go and fact check Kamala and realize that you're not getting answers. You're just getting a big helping of word salad. This to me is unacceptable journalism. This is unacceptable politics. And I would hope that people will begin to speak up. And if they're not being heard, just not vote for those people that do these kinds of things consistently. Will every politician answer every single question the way you want it and it's a perfect answer? No. But you shouldn't be known for doing this, where you're known for just not answering any questions at all, not having any plans whatsoever, not having any concrete step-by-step, actual, factual processes in place to do the things that you're saying you're going to do. I don't know. But till next time, people, thank you all so much. I appreciate everybody that stopped by. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you for everybody that commented in the comment section. I love y'all. And to this person that put this comment in here, he says, MPE. He was one of the first people to comment. I'm actually going to put this in the chat. If this person would like to have a debate and talk about this, he says, you like Farrakhan, but you got that racist hat on your head. You young brothers are being bamboozled by the orange con man. His 2016 and 2020 base are leaving him in droves, but here you like a fool. I guess he said, but here you are like a fool. I would love to. I wish I had saw this earlier, but I didn't. I missed it. But MPE, whatever your name is, if you would definitely like to have a discussion about that, I would definitely open up my platform and invite you to do so, sir. But more than likely, you probably won't. But hey, you never know. So the invitation is open. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you all. Y'all have a good night. Till next time. Peace and I'm out.